Hey you beautiful buccaneers, Falcore here. So with the new update comes a brand new piece of loot, and although the price for handing this in is quite lackluster, the possible story behind it is a lot more rewarding. So in the Vaults of the Ancients update, you are given the option to steal from the gold hoarders, and then sell it all back to them for a price cut. So essentially you're committing tax fraud, but that's a whole new video. You can get your grubby hands on all sorts of loot within these vaults. The gold hoarders, once learning of their master's defeat, hid all of the gold from the vault in the Shores of Gold in these vaults for safekeeping. But one piece of loot is available that we have not yet seen, and that is this gorgeous box of joy. Now this chest differs greatly from all the others in the game, and it could possibly be a chest the ancients used to use long before us pirates came along. I say that because all the other chests in the game, apart from the special types like Reaper's chests, Ashen chests, and a box of wondrous secrets, were all made by the Pirate Lord and his crew. Some of the chests, however, fell victim to the cursed gold that lies within and became different. But this chest was obviously the creation of the ancients. The decoration is testimony to that, as the symbols that are engraved are identical to ancient paintings. But this chest reveals something that you've possibly overlooked. Now, let's first talk about these ancients. The only proof of what they used to look like lies in the Shores of Gold. The statues give us a glimpse at what they used to look like and what they wore. The structures made by the ancients also show that they obviously had some form of fascination with the Kraken, which would make sense, as together with the merfolk they hatched a plan to kill the Old Mother, the queen of all Krakens. Without this All Mother, the Queen Bee, so to speak, no more Kraken could spawn. The merfolk wanted this as the Kraken were killing their kin and the sea life, but the ancients wanted this for another reason, one that has not fully been explained. The Old Mother was chained using metal that was unbreakable and could not rust over time, and the Old Mother died of starvation, so that Kraken roar you hear every night is possibly the last Kraken in the entire world, calling out for his mum. So that's cheerful. But the ancients obviously worshipped the Kraken, or at the very least held them in a high regard. So why would they go about wiping them all out? Well, we know that the ancients had a whole load of powers and curses at their disposal. In fact, it's entirely likely that the ancients collected curses like we collect treasure. I've said this in a previous video, so I won't go into too much detail, but it's my belief that the Kraken had a sort of organic power to part the shroud. You can see this in cave paintings, a kind of mist surrounding the Kraken as the ancients worship it while sailing. It's my belief that these Kraken were hunted for this power, hence why the Shroud Breaker is basically an effigy of the Kraken. There's a whole load more to go into on that subject. Just watch this video appearing in your top right if you want to know more on that theory. So that means that the ancients wanted to uncover every secret these seas had, and they went about hunting all of these Kraken so they could part the shroud and visit all of these secret isles. The slaying of the Old Mother was possibly their final kill, as they'd hunted these beasts to near extinction, but somewhere along the line, something went wrong. Something always goes wrong. There are only two full-sized paintings of the Kraken in-game, this one at Devil's Ridge and this one at Cannon Cove. Cannon Cove is in the Shores of Plenty, and although the game doesn't do a great job of explaining this, the Shores of Plenty used to be covered by the Shroud, much like the Devil's Roar once was. So that means all the cave paintings in the Shores of Plenty are kind of the most recent scribblings of the ancients, and possibly the story of their demise. The painting at Devil's Ridge shows the ancients worshipping the Kraken, or maybe pursuing it. If you stand below a vessel in what looks like blood, that could possibly be a hint towards the Red Sea, aka the Shroud. Since this painting is in the Ancient Isles, That would mean it would predate the one found in Cannon Cove. The painting at Cannon Cove shows a similar image, but instead of a Red Sea and ancients worshipping below, it shows what appears to be skeletons, or dead bodies, maybe graves. Now this is very interesting, as this is the only picture in the entire Sea of Thieves that shows skeletons. There is no evidence of a skeletal curse from the ancients in cave paintings, so that means they never suffered from the curse, or they possibly created the curse. Now let's take this image right here and the image on the new tribute chest and put them side by side. Very similar, yes? Except rather than worshipping a kraken, the middle figure is worshipping some form of jewel, possibly a curse. But what are these figures standing next to this person? They seem rather alien-like. I knew I'd seen this form in the game before, and it took me quite a while to find it, but I can tell you this much. You've already seen this figure in this video. In fact, let's go back to that Kraken painting at Cannon Cove. Now let's see what happens when we turn the images of these skeletons upside down. The figures standing next to her are skeletons, almost like the figure is raising the skeletons, summoning them, bringing them back to life. This same image can also be found on many puzzle vaults throughout the Shores of Gold and other vault areas. So could it be possible that the Kraken gave them the ability to part the shroud, but also gave them the ability, or rather the curse, to raise the dead? Furthermore, the throne that lies within the vault at the Shores of Gold is covered in these green jewels. In fact, it was this throne that was responsible for cursing the Gold Hoarder, which resulted in him being unable to die. An undead that wears green jewels in his eyes. Could the Shores of Gold in fact be ground zero of the skeletal curse, the ultimate power of all, never-ending life? Or, not. It's just a theory.